quorum. I have a couple other people that I'm still moving over.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, I think that's everyone that's in right now.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Diana Moore Clark here, CVTA TAC Chair. Welcome to the August 12th meeting for the CVTA Technical Advisory Committee meeting. Ms. Scott, could you do a roll call for the certification of that quorum?
Yes, ma'am. Town of Ashland, Miss Amos.
Here.
Thank you. Charles City County, Miss Adams.
Here.
Mr. Mitchell. Chesterfield County, Vice Chair Smith.
Here.
Mr. Banuelos. Goochland County, Mr. Goyne.
Here.
Mr. Coleman. Hanover County, Mr. Vadunez.
Here.
Mr. Hardman. Henrico County, Mr. Yor.
Here.
Miss Smidler.
Here.
New Kent County, Miss Inman.
Here.
Miss LeDuc. Powhatan County, Mr. Shardine. City of Richmond, Chair Clark.
Aye, here.
GRTC, Mr. Adarkwa.
Present.
Miss Robinson.
I'm here. Good morning. Well, afternoon, sorry.
Good afternoon. CVTA, Mr. Parsons.
Here.
Plan RVA, Mr. Bushing.
Here.
DRPT, Ms. Dubinsky.
Here.
Mr. Hudson. VDOT, Mr. Totten. Mr. Riblet.
Here.
Miss McAdory. RMTA, Miss Dean. And Virginia Port Authority, Miss Nelson.
Here.
Thank you. That concludes the roll call for attendance. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to item 3, are there any consideration for amendments to the meeting agenda? Hearing none. Okay, item 4, approval of our July 8th, 2024 CVTA TAC meeting minutes. A motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Goyne. Second?
Second. Barb.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Awesome. That the minutes are approved. Moving on to open public comment period. Do we have anyone signed up in person to speak virtually or?
No, we do not. We do have some attendees that are not members of the group, but no one is requested to speak.
Okay, thank you. All right, item 6, chairman's report. I don't have a report. Item 7, election of our FY25 CVTA TAC chair and vice chair. I'll entertain a nomination for chair from the group.
I would move that Barb Smith be considered for chair.
Second. This is Todd.
All right, do we have any discussion? Is there any other leader here that would like this opportunity?
Dirona, this is Nora. I'm very happy with Barb, but can you remind us who was appointed Friday for the chair and vice chair for the CVTA? I can't remember.
Yeah, the chair was Hanover and the vice chair is Henrico. And I think Henrico is good with Barb and I guess Joe. You good with Barb leading?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. So we've had a motion and a second. Any further nominations for chair? Hearing none. Let's do a roll call vote, please.
All right, hold 1 second. Miss Amos.
Aye.
Miss Adams.
Aye.
Miss Smith.
I'll abstain.
Mr. Goin,
Aye.
Mr. Vadunez,
Aye.
Mr. Yor,
Aye.
Miss Inman,
I can get off aye. Aye.
Miss Clark.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries.
Thank you. Barb, I'm handing it over to you. And in handing that over, if I could just make a motion to nominate Austin Goin as the vice chair.
Okay. Thank you for supporting me as chair. I appreciate that. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Okay. With that, we'll take a roll call vote
A
for.
second, we need 1 second.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
I'll second.
Thank you, Amy. Janice, if you wouldn't mind taking the vote.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Amos,
Aye.
Miss Adams,
Aye.
Chair Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Goin,
I will abstain.
Mr. Vadunez,
Aye.
Mr. Yor,
Aye.
Miss Inman,
Aye.
and Miss Clark.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries.
Okay, great. So moving on to item number 8 in the agenda, that's Henrico County's draft project agreements for 2 projects. One is Route 60, Route 33, and Beulah Road Roundabout. And the second is for the Route 5 at New Osborne Turnpike improvements. Is there a motion to recommend to the full authority approval of the draft project agreement?
So moved. This is Todd.
Second, this is Joe.
All right. We can do this as a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Anyone opposed? All right, moving on to item number 9. City of Richmond draft project agreements. 2 agreements here as well, Hull Street Phase 3 and the North-South BRT. Is there a motion to recommend approval of the draft project agreements?
Madam Chair, so moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, I didn't ask for any discussion last time. Any discussion? If not, we'll do a voice vote on this as well. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that carries as well. Item number 10. Here's another project agreement, this time for VDOT's administration of the Fall Line Trail Design Build number 2. That's the section from Petersburg to Appomattox River up to Route 10 in Chesterfield. Is there a motion to recommend approval of this project agreement?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. If there's no discussion, we'll take a voice vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that passes as well. Item number 11, FY25 local allocation plan. Chet, do you want to discuss this one?
Sure, I don't want to slow down the momentum of the meeting, so happy to have whatever discussion is necessary, but this is the, for everybody's refresher, this is the project list for the current fiscal year and what every locality intends to use local CVTA dollars to help fund. So I think we have gotten contributions from everyone into the local allocation plan. What we're trying to do here is to get a recommendation out of TAC for consideration by the full authority at their next meeting, which is actually not until September 27th. But hopefully everyone's had a chance to look through this, make sure your projects are there. I think we've transferred everything that people submitted into this new FY25 plan.
So have you gotten a plan from every locality?
Yes, everyone that has intention of using CVTA local dollars.
So I see Barb, it's Ashland, Charles City, Chesterfield, Goochland, Hanover, Enrico, New Kent, Powhatan, Richmond. Yep, is that everybody?
Chet's saying that is everybody, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
And if it's not, and if people, it's like every year, if there are adjustments to be made, this is not a binding recommendation. It can be changed and updated throughout the year as needed.
Okay, but you've gotten a FY25 plan from everyone.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Um,
I guess, Madam Chair,
mhm.
maybe I'm looking at an old copy, but so it looks like Powhatan is to be determined.
Chet,
That's correct. Yeah, they don't have any intention of spending CVTA local dollars at this point.
Okay, so that's their fiscal year 25 plan. Okay.
Yep.
Thank
but
you.
you've had a conversation with them.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
All right, thank you. Are there any more questions? Has everyone had a chance to review it to make sure your projects are shown correctly? If we're ready, then I'll take a motion to recommend approval to the full authority of the FY25 local allocation plans.
I'll move for approval.
Thanks, Joe. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sherry. Can we do this by voice vote?
Yes.
All right. All in favor, please indicate by stating aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, that passes as well. Let me get back to the agenda. Next item on the agenda was item 12, FY24 annual certifications and quarterly reporting. Chet, can you give us an update on that?
Yes. So this is listed as an information item. I do think that we have quarterly reporting from everyone, but we don't have all the certifications in. So we usually take the action on both of these together. So my recommendation now is just this is an information item to see, so you all can see everything that's been communicated into us. I think it's all updated. And I do know that we probably have half of the certifications back. That usually doesn't happen until September anyway, or late August. So at this point, this is just information item. If you see anything that needs to be changed, please let me know. And I appreciate all the, there were a flurry of emails last week trying to get information from everyone. So if you see something that isn't correct yet, just contact me directly and we'll get it sorted out.
Okay. Dorona?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think Chet, this was the incorrect one. I just resent you the correct quarterly expenditure from me for Richmond's. I'm just looking at the draft one. Looks like the first one I sent you.
Okay, we'll take a look.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments? This is information item. Be sure to check to make sure that you've gotten your quarterly reporting in along with the FY25 annual certification. And Chet, you're hoping to get that to the full authority in September?
Yes, which would be middle of the month would be when the agendas go out. So
Okay.
probably September 15th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. The next item on the agenda is Fall Line Trail Management. We got an email this afternoon from Janice, or this morning from Janice, on this subject, so you might want to check your inbox for the document that's been drafted, but I'll turn it over to Chet.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, and this is a conversation starter more than anything. We've been having some discussions both at the TAC and at the Fall Line Work Group. The TAC has really come back to take the lead on this. And I believe what we discussed last month, possibly sending out some type of a notice or request for information from anybody who may be interested or have knowledge of a trail management practice. So what staff was instructed to do was to kind of come up with a baseline understanding of, here are all the different things that CVTA might be interested in terms of qualifications or experience from a group, a body, a foundation, an agency, whatever that might be, who may be able to step in and take the lead on oversight and management of the fall line and possibly other regional trails. So this is essentially, this is just to get the conversation started. I put this together with Heather Barrar and Phil Regan. Both of them have experience and have had conversations with other groups, and Phil's the one that authored the white paper that everybody's been able to look at over the last few months. So I think that we're starting from a point where these are all of the things that we, the three of us, could think of. We put it down on paper, and now it's time to, have some conversation, discussion amongst TAC members. This is important to have. This is not important to have. We can edit it. We can pare down. We can expand as much as needed. And I think the goal here, and I talked about this with Joanna and Barb previously. We're trying to figure out where the authority ends up. I mean, CVTA has a vested interest in making sure that the hundreds of millions of dollars that it's committed to the fall line are used accordingly. We need to determine, where that ends up and how that happens. I don't believe that, personally, as the executive director, I don't think that CVTA has the power to, or the ability right now to manage and operate a trail. But there may be some other options that we can all come up with together.
Yeah, and I
Like,
think
catch
something
it?
we
Yeah.
talked about, oh, sorry.
Well, I was just making sure that caught everything. Feel free to take over.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about how things work with the Capitol Trail, and there's an MOU in place between the Capitol Trail Foundation and the owner of the trail, VDOT. I'm assuming if the trail is in other localities where it's not owned by VDOT, there's an MOU in place there as well. So it would seem that's probably how it's going to work. But I can see that the localities would have some role in that as well, especially when you read through this document that we got today. There's a lot of overlap and shared responsibilities. So I think between the actual owner of the trail and the localities that it passes through, there's going to need to be some discussion. I was able to look through the draft. It looks really good. It is well organized, and it, in my opinion, seems to capture the items that we've talked about at the working group and then as TAC. So yeah, please everyone take a look at that. Are there any other comments on that document or this issue? Amy?
Yeah, and I apologize that I was unable to make that meeting with you and Dirona, Barb, last week, but
Sorry.
I guess where, in terms of the capital improvements, if that's something that's going to be with VDOT in coordination with whatever entity might be helping to oversee, I do think there needs to be sort of a development of a capital program, right? So the localities know when maintenance is going to occur, or when resurfacing is going to occur, for the different sections of the trail. But on number 1 item that was sent out in the document, it just asked that this group would coordinate with VDOT and all localities on maintenance, law enforcement of the built sections of the fall line. So I just wonder if that could be maybe defined a little bit better on who is going to take the lead on that. That's a really big piece of,
Yeah, the
Designating.
maintenance is a big issue, and we
Yeah.
spoke about that a lot the
Mhm.
other day. And in my mind, I've kind of compartmentalized maintenance versus management,
right.
even though the management group may have an active role in trying to do fundraising for supplemental money.
Mhm.
But there will be a foundational level of money coming from either the state or in the city, if the city ends up maintaining their sections
Mhm.
coming from their coffers as well.
Okay.
One of the items in this under 2B was a point that we discussed the other day, which is advocate for the establishment of the State Trails Office Maintenance Reserve through the General Assembly, an idea that we might want to vet a little in the future.
Mhm.
With the State Trails Office now, I think there's an opportunity to try to get them a budget for identified regional trails that are supported by the state.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments?
I think Madam Chair, one point of clarification on 1A and 1B. VDOT has said in the past few months that they are committed to maintaining the built section of the trail that they are responsible for. So that 8 or 10 foot width of the actual built section. So that was what we tried to capture under 1A. And then we put localities in for those localities that aren't going to be VDOT maintained. But then 1B is kind of capturing everything beyond outside of that initial width. So, the signage, the associated furniture, if there's anything out there, the art, the public art, the directional stuff. A lot of the things that are in the sports backers vision plan are probably going to be in that 1B category. And Amy, I think there's a lot of things that we do need more information on and more detail. And that'll come with time, but I think we just wanted to get the bullet points put together so everybody has an understanding of the breadth of everything we're looking at.
So
Amy?
sorry, thank you. So Chet, I guess, Barb, will this be something that we're going to try to send out? I mean, is this sort of the basis for sending out sort of a, an interest, submittal for interest of managing this facility? If so, I think it is important to be very clear about the expectation for fundraising for maintenance of the trail, because that's a really big piece of it. And if that is going to fall to a group of this nature, then that's pretty significant.
Yeah, I think Chet summarized it well when he was introducing this item that, the CVTA definitely has a vested interest that the trail be successful because of the investment made by the CVT towards it. But I really believe that the management is going to be something that is discussed between whoever owns the trail and or the locality that the trail passes through. So I don't see CVTA taking trying to take on hiring a management or getting a management firm or management agency in place.
Right.
So to
Yeah,
me,
I-
this is information. We can discuss it at the Fall Line Trail Working Group and build upon it, but in
I
my
guess that's
opinion,
my
it's a
point is what what is this document going to do? It's being developed through CVTA, but yet CVTA isn't going to take an active role in the management, and I completely agree with that and understand that. So I guess I'm just wondering what is the purpose of this at this point, other
Yeah,
than just to have it put together?
I think it's an information item that each locality to whom it pertains will use as a resource.
Okay.
Dyrona?
Thank you. So if this were to go back to the fall line working group, so are we saying that we aren't going to gather additional information from the interested parties?
Well, that's up for discussion, but I don't really see that being a role that we would be taking on.
Okay. So when we discussed it at the Fall Line Working Group with sports backers and Capital Trail being members of the Fall Line Working Group and asking them to provide additional information, we don't want to do that anymore?
We can do what we want. It's just I'm having a hard time coming to terms with what kind of authority the CVTA really has in that decision.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, but I think, and probably what me and Amy are saying is that one, we came together as a region through CVTA to at least bring Richmond in line with the fall line, because technically, both Richmond and Chesterfield were the furthest behind. And again, as a locality of the CVTA, I care because of the fact that everybody, either Henrico, who's wealthy enough to pay for their trail maintenance and operations in the future, and others who's are going to be covered by VDOT, it's not fair to me to have been brought into it through the CVTA to now say, hey, we're out of it. Let things fall the way that they're going to fall. I don't appreciate that. And I don't think
Well,
that's how we should go about. And I thought that this process was going to go to the Fall Line Working Group in order for us to get a deeper, not even a deeper, but a scope put together to ask our other Fall Line Working Group people that are on the Fall Line Working Group, Capital Trail and sports backers, to provide us with some realistic information on some of the things we wrote here on theory. In theory is what I thought.
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy to take it back to the Fall Line Trail Working Group and get some input from the interested parties. But I do want to just clarify that I feel like management of the trail is kind of a different issue, though there is overlap between maintenance of the trail. And we talked about that the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I think your point about the city being on the hook for maintaining the Fall Line Trail without any increases in your urban maintenance funding,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big issue. But I think it is somewhat separate from the management part of it. This document talks about them advocating for a maintenance reserve through the State Trails Office. Chet was making that seem like it was more for the amenities kind of stuff rather than regular maintenance. In our discussion, I was thinking it would really be to supplement maintenance coming from VDOT or to supplement maintenance that you're getting through your urban maintenance fund. So I think that's a big issue. I think it would be better for us to take on that issue with the State Trails Office and General Assembly. But we can bring this to the Fall Line Trail Working Group. I'm happy to do that. And we can discuss with sports backers and the Capital Trail Foundation. Todd?
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. I guess this has gone a slightly different direction from when I first raised my hand, but I think I agree. This should probably definitely go to the fall line working group because you do have the other localities that are part of the fall line that aren't on the CVTA TAC, as well as the other organizations mentioned. Barb, to your question is what or why is CVTA involved? I mean, the region invested, forget how much the funding was, is close to 100 million, 90 some million to the fall line. So through CVTA. So I think CVTA is definitely invested financially as well as, just support of the development and implementation of fall line in general. But certainly there are other funding partners. I think VDOT definitely needs to have a voice in all this, since they are funding part of it through various programs and are involved in the maintenance side for at least some of the localities. So I don't know what the answer is other than there's many stakeholders that need to have a say in this, but I think it's good that we're at least, to Chet's point, getting the conversation started with us. So I don't think this is the be all end all, but I think through Fall Line Working Group, we can certainly put something out for greater discussion.
Okay, that sounds good. Anyone else? All right, so we'll move this to the Fall Line Trail Working Group for the next agenda.
Madam Chair, question on that, is it an action item?
I think it's discussion.
Okay,
Jerona, is that how you see it?
Yes.
Okay,
great,
sounds good.
thank you.
All right, item number 14. CVTA TAC member comments. Does anyone have any comments for the group? Seeing none, we will,
Madam
Have our
Chair,
next-
I have one, sorry. I was
oh, sorry.
rushing to unmute. I would like to thank Ms. Dorena Moore Clark for her, 2 years plus service as CVTA TAC chair.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks, everyone. I saw
Yep.
something in the chat too. I'm so happy Barb's
you,
taking it
Dayrona.
over in Austin.
You did
Now
an
I get
excellent
to-
job, Dayrona.
Thank you, Amy.
You have big shoes to fill, Barb.
Yep, she did a great job. All right, our next meeting is September 9th at 1 o'clock. And with that, we're adjourned. Thank you.